This is what's crazy about these budgets. We've been saying for years about the budgets of games. Spider-Man 2 costing, was it 300 million? And even when you look at like the big games from Resident Evil, their budgets are nowhere near what the budgets are for some of these other games. And this is why we're getting massive, or partly why we're getting massive gaming crashes, because how can you invest 300 million into a game and then you hope that it resonates with the audience, and then if it doesn't, you're like, shit, we're going to have to make some freaking closures.
Concord is a 5v5 first-person shooter.
I cannot believe Gears of War E-Day reportedly cost a staggering 400 million to develop. This is ridiculous. Like, how can you think this is actually sustainable? And I know Xbox are going through some serious changes, but the last minute, the game was going to come out on PlayStation 5, and then they thought, you know what, we're going to make this a console exclusive to Xbox. But then you realize that you've now limited yourself with the amount of hardware that Xbox has been selling in the last few years or since this generation. How the hell are you even going to make up 400 million? Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson reported on a podcast. For comparison, as per leaked internal documents, Marvel Spider-Man 2 cost around 300 million. That needed to sell 7.2 million copies at full price to break even. And obviously Marvel Spider-Man 2 has sold over 16 million units globally across PS5 and of late PC. So it looks like they've made their money back. I'm assuming that's like there might have been maybe some sales. So it looks like they've definitely made their money back. Now this is what's even more crazy, is that the best selling entry in the series was Gears of War 2, released in 2008, and it sold 6.75 million copies. So how the hell is E-Day going to surpass that figure? Is it on Game Pass? It is, isn't it? With 32 million consoles sold versus Sony's over 75 million. And then it also says, Henderson says, there's no Xboxes to buy anywhere because they can't make any more. So what are we doing? And it's costing 400 million. When you look at other studios, and this is what's even more alarming, supposedly Concord cost between 200 and 400 million. 200 to 400 million of Concord. I get it, Spider-Man probably made its money back. It was approximately $315 million. Intergalactic is supposedly around, and it's exceeding 300 million. But then when you look at other games, Black Myth Wukong cost 70 million US dollars. How much cheaper is that? Well, they said it was roughly 42.5 million. And then the same with marketing, it's around 70. And even with 70, that is still cheap. Stellar Blade supposedly had a budget of 30 to 50 million US dollars. I'm bringing in one of my favorite games of this year. Crimson Desert has an estimated budget of 133 million US dollars. And that's still quite expensive, but nowhere near like these other studios. Balatro. Aside from his own time, the developer only out-of-pocket expense was spending a small amount of money on Fiverr to hire a freelance artist. And that game sold, I don't know, I can't remember how much it was. Obviously, it wasn't full price. But that was up for Game of the Year, and it surpassed 7 million copies. Even Astrobot, this is supposedly had a game development budget was around 50 to 75 million US dollars. That's quite expensive when you think about it. But again, my point is, all of these Asian developers, they're so much cheaper than these ridiculous, like, I still can't believe this is true. Like, how can you spend between 2 to 400 million on a game that you haven't really researched? The gamers actually want that. How much did they pay Sweet Baby? With the budgets that they're on, you would think that you're going to get better results. But when you think about the amount of games the last few years, some of the, imagine you eradicate all of the Asian developers from this generation. Flipping hell, I think we would be like, wow, this generation is bare bones. How much is this game gonna actually sell? That, like, they need to find a way to take these budgets down. Even the budget of this supposedly cost 40 to 60 million dollars. Guys, I can't believe it. Yeah, they do work more efficient. Like, this is absolutely nuts. If this was made by Western developers, this is exceeding 3 to 400 million. How much did it cost for Uncharted 4? That must have been expensive then. What? I know this is an older game, but flipping hell, this costs maybe 60 million. Where did we go wrong in the Western world when you've got games that are, like, that is one of the best games even to this day, and it costs around 60 million. There's a massive problem here for a start, but also I just don't know how they make money. Where do you go? You release the game, then what? You've lost 400 million. How much are you gonna make? People are on Game Pass. I don't understand. Tell me in the chat. Tell me, chat. How are they going to actually make money?
I have worked with Asian developers in the past. They work for less money and more hours because they smash thing out faster. In the West, we work slower for more pay. Plus all the sick days rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
It's true. Have we just established that, like you just said, they work harder, they're more efficient? Some of you are going to say, I go on about it. I think that the corporate world, the gaming world, a lot of the corporate world, because of DEI, they've had to hire some people that they're so scared of that they're going to be like, well, you're telling me off. Are you racist? I'm telling you, DEI has ruined a lot of freaking companies because then you're so scared to call them out. And that's probably why you've got these games that are just so useless. You've got people are no longer hired based on their ability. Polar Bears are Korean and they create a near masterpiece. For a fraction of a Western budget, Asians are raised differently, 100%. Some games that I've been surprised, my James Bond review should be coming in the next couple of days. Hopefully my Crimson Desert one comes out soon. They go with the trend nowadays, it's ridiculous. And 133 million is a fraction of the budget. It's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's not 300 million. Saros, that was around 76 million US dollars. Imagine Stellar Blade cost less than Saros. Black Myth Wukong cost around 17 million, the same amount as Saros. And you think how many copies have been sold with Saros in comparison. Wasn't KCD 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had an estimated development budget of approximately 41.5 million US dollars. This makes the sequel's budget roughly double of the first game, yet notably smaller than the typical big budget AAA games. So we've established that AAA companies have been found out because it just shows you, even if you throw so much money, it's not guaranteed to sell. If it looks amazing, cool. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the best games. That was my favorite game that was my game of the year of last year. That was last year, right? No. Yes. No. Yes. I'm telling you right now. I'm calling it now. Intergalactic is in big trouble. I'm predicting it now. It's going to come out. It's not going to sell well. Neil Druckmann will then shortly leave and retire from Naughty Dog, and they're going to go into a different direction. There's no way this game can cost over 300 million, and they expect this to sell well. Claire's Expedition 33, what was the budget on this? Less than 10. We can all call it now. Naughty Dog are done. Naughty Dog are done. How are you going to sell that game for £70? Because of its speculated development and marketing costs of exceeding $300 million, industry analyst estimates Naughty Dog's Intergalactic will need to sell between 5 to 7 million copies to break even. This break-even target ranks it among the most expensive projects in PlayStation's history. Discussion regarding its high-stakes budget is robust across gaming communities. The fact that this game is still not shown, I think we're gone. I don't see any buzz for Intergalactic, let's be honest. We know what's going on with the likes to dislikes. It's just, I don't think it's going to get nowhere near the hype. But just to sum up this, I cannot believe we've got games like Gears of War E-Day costing $400 million and it's only on Xbox and it's on Game Pass. How the hell do you expect to make your money back? 30 to 50 million for Stellar Blade, around 70 million for Black Myth Wukong. Crimson Desert, still quite high, but $133 million. Astrobot, I don't know if that made that money back. I thought it was an amazing game, between 50 to 75 million. And then we've got games exceeding 300 million. The Western world is cooked if they're cooked. They are absolutely cooked. Should we look at Mind's Eye? Probably, I'm going to guess, $10. 151. No way it had 5. No way it had between 100 and 500. Get out of it. Then there's some serious tax fraud going on. Come on, there is some I might jump back in. Ray, are you okay? Obviously, Helldivers 2 is amazing. That must have made a shitload of money. Between 50 and 100 million. This is ridiculous. It feels like the good games that I'm researching, they're a bit more reasonable. It sold over 20 million copies. Genshin Impact. A what? Obviously, that's made loads of money being a live service. Its initial development was around 100 million. However, it's a live service game. Its ongoing maintenance and content required an estimated 200 million per year. Oh my gosh, they've spent over 900 million on this game. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you spend over 900 million, oh my gosh, it is, wow. It's generated an estimated 6.3 billion to 7 billion. Something's not adding up with these budgets. This is why we need layoffs. You know what? It's not a bad thing. Listen, in terms of something's not right. Yes, I understand the higher up should be sacked, etc. People will be out of jobs. There's probably a lot of really bad people in the gaming industry that are just totally incompetent in terms of making games that were probably DEI highs, and they're just not good enough. And we need this crash. It's just, natural selection.